this is the front proportioning valve for the Super Dodge. I think I only have front brakes. Now, sometimes you step on them, and boy, you can feel them back ones grabbing. So it's either this one or it's the one on the rear. Dodge calls it a load sensing valve. It's like an air ride valve. It has linkage down to the shock absorber mount. And then the valve is mounted to the frame. So the more you load the truck, the more brake pressure it sends to the back, because 01 second gen Dodges, early ones, had that system. Later ones, I think they got rid of it or went to disc brakes. I know 02's disc brakes on the back. But if you got discs on the front and drums on the back, you got to send way more pressure to the discs than you do the drums. My understanding is you can't get these anymore. They're obsolete, discontinued. So the first thing you got to do is a 19 millimeter is take this off. You take that off and step on the brakes, you get, this thing will come up. So there's that valve. All right, this is the sending unit. And from what I can see in here, I put a 17 millimeter deep socket on it and wiggled it on there. And it screwed out by hand pretty easy. So you can see in there there's a valve. And it looks to me like it's shifted, which is going to turn that on and kill your brakes to your back, I assume. So what I'm going to do, this was in there too. That came out. It looks like there's another one in there. I don't think it's going to come out doing this. A lot of black specks coming out. All right. These proportioning valves on the front are discontinued. You cannot find one anywhere. So I got the spool out and it's got some O-rings on it. So what I've done is I've taken this stuff and I washed this out with water and blew it dry. Last thing you want to use is ether cleaning fluid or some other petrochemical. If I had O-rings for brake systems, I could replace those 2 O-rings. Here's the interesting thing I wanted to talk about. So I saw something the other day, a video or something, talking about aftermarket parts suppliers, that even they are on the bandwagon of obsoleting stuff. And it's like this. All the ones that I've bought over the years have been aftermarket, and now they're no longer offering them. So what's going on? And they were talking about in this video about, they kind of want you to get rid of this old stuff and buy new stuff. What I'm going to do here is I've got me a gallon of breakage fluid, and I'm going to put it all over these O-rings. And I should probably also figure out how to get it down the bore. I've got an idea. Somebody sent me a shit ton of Q-tips. There we go. How about a Q-tip? If I can remember where I put them. Probably don't need cotton fibers in there either. I hope these don't put cotton fibers down the hole. Edgar. All right, dip her in the fluid. Out she comes, drippity drippity. There, now we can get it all over in there. Yeah. All right, let's see how that works. Well, drastic measures now. What are we going to do? So it just took a large punch in that bore and push on it really hard to get it started. And I don't see any damage like rubber sticking out from pushing it in there. So yeah, So I got it centered so when this side valve, this electrical valve goes in there, it shouldn't depress this. So what I want to do next is I want to go get test light, make sure this thing even works. So I've screwed this back in. I've tested it with a test meter. It works. When I screw it back in, no continuity. So the valve is set in the correct position. So now the next thing I got to do is I got to get that down in there over that deal correctly. And have I got it? Why, yes I do. Fell right in there like a lump of crap. So now next thing I need to do is lubricate this, the seals up on this with some brake fluid. Make sure everything gonna be free. Work this back down the hole. Like that. There. Then I need to take this and clean it up. I should probably go over it, run some water and air through it, don't you think? Alright, I got the priority or proportioning valve back in. I started the truck up and the brake light went out. So I thought, all right, well, there's part of your problem, but I'm wondering why it shifted. Well, I got the creeper, crawled under the truck, and that left rear wheel cylinder is leaking. I should have replaced those. So if it detects too much fluid going to the back, that spool in there shifts and turns the brake light on. So I'm going to go to town and get a couple wheel cylinders for it. Somebody said I was looking like an old hippie. I needed a haircut, so I got a haircut. Just for you. Now, you got to remember, I'm a handicapped mechanic, so I don't work very fast. So for me to get that wheel off, undo those brakes, and put a wheel cylinder in is going to take a while. I'm going to be lucky if I get one wheel done today because I have to take a break occasionally, put my foot up, whatever. All right, so I went to town to get wheel cylinders, and Napa said they couldn't find anything. So I said, well, I understand you can put 1-tons on, so he brought out the 1-tons, which probably would have been 1.125" instead of 1 inch. And brought them home, and the angle where the fitting goes in on these is off to the Joneses, and that other one was right in the middle. So I took them back, and he got looking. I got the owner of the store, and then he brought these up. These are off a 96 F250 Ford, 3/4 ton. I made a big boo-boo, wasn't even thinking. I took the shoes and stuff off, and you really don't have to do that. Pretty sure you can change these without taking the shoes off. All right, line went right in, bolts went right in. There she is. Now I got to get the shoes and stuff on, so I've got to find something I can sit down there on. So it's like, I didn't start real early. I started like around 11:30. It's 4 o'clock. Of course, I had to make 2 trips to town. That's all the farther I got done. I feel pretty productive for a one-legged man. All right, installation complete. So I said you could change those cylinders without taking the brakes off. I still think you can. You are going to have to take the bolt off the inside there and pull the emergency brake lever off to fish it out of there. All right, this side I'm going to attempt to replace that cylinder without taking the shoes off. So first thing you want to do is this stud goes through here to the backing plate, and you screw this nut off. I used an 11mm deep socket because I'm crippled, and I just grabbed a bunch of stuff and that worked. Watch me pinch my fingers. and say the bad word. There we go. All right. So we're going to get this off. Bingo. So your cable, your adjusting cable for your brakes is here. And there's a little deal that has to go up over. And when you go to put this on, it may not want to fit in there once you get this looped over this. So just reach down underneath and grab your adjusting mechanism and pull it out and push it up, and that'll give you more room to do it. All right, can you see that? So on the line, it's a 3/8, and when I started to undo it, it started to twist the line. So I knew that nut was stuck on there, so I worked it back and forth, and then I sprayed some more ether up here towards the nut in there, and then worked it back and forth just a little bit until it finally broke loose. And then I really gave it the business and washed it off good. So now what we got to do is undo these two bolts here. I'm just using a 1/4-inch drive ratchet, not that tight, only 1/2 inch long. So I'm going to be like a 5/16, I guess, coarse thread. Some of the crap on here is metric, some of it ain't, just crapshoot. That's what is, what isn't, and some of the metric stuff is sized correctly. You can use US inches on it. Let's see if I can get him pushed in. There's that one out. There's that one. There we go. See, no need to remove the brakes. Ain't that special? So I'm going back with the original 1-inch bore master cylinders back here. Why? Because I live in a cold climate where we get snow and ice. And I think if you put 1 1/8 or 1 3/16 one in there, you're liable to lock up your back brakes all the time. All right, so I'm getting it in there. Put it in kind of sideways and got that first one installed, but you're kind of in the way here, so I don't know how I'm going to do this and get it in. Jesus. Yep. It's trying. It's trying. Compress that in. Get it in that slot if I can. Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Some bitch. Jeez. It's kind of been there. Oh, yeah. Okay. There we went. We're in. Alright, I finally got it started. What I had to do was unloosen these bolts and pull that dang cylinder out until I could get this bent enough to get it started, and then it just went in easy. So disregard my previous instructions. There you go. You can change the cylinder without taking the brakes off. Hey everybody, Jeff down at the Dodge shop. Roll on. Got my crutches, my chair so I can roll around. So I got that wheel done. So we have new master cylinders, not master, wheel cylinders on the Super Dodge. So now, let me show you the master cylinder. That's not clear fluid anymore. She got a black tinge to her, so next item of business is take that sucker off and replace it. So that we'll have to wait till tomorrow, because I think I started this project at about 11:30. Let me look, see what time it is now. I have finished both wheels in a record-breaking time of, well, looks like 8 hours. It's 7:30 now, so it's taken me 8 hours to do those two wheels. Of course, you gotta remember, I ain't working too hard. All right, so I got the Super Dodge together. Matt came out and helped me bleed all four brakes. We got all the old fluid out of the lines. Took it out for a test drive. I stepped on the brakes like I normally do and about threw us through the windshield. So the back brakes are now working. Hee-haw. So today, I'm working on the steam cleaner because it wouldn't pump any water. It was working and then all of a sudden it didn't. So how these work is you got these check valves. These are the, let's see, these are the intake. So this is water in, and the way it works is when the pistons go down, this is a triplex pump, 3-piston. It allows water to come in through here and fill the piston. And then when it goes out, there's 3 of these in the block, and this is the discharge side out to pressure. Well, one of these on the discharge side was stuck, and I pushed on it pretty good and it popped loose. There was like something that got between the valve and the cage or something. So I'm wondering if there's some junk in that one down the bottom. I take them over and wash them out good, make sure there's nothing in them. All right, so I don't know if I told you, one of these was stuck, wouldn't operate. Washed them out with water, poked them, got that one. There must have been something that got in here between the spring and the valve. Anyway, there's a little coupler. It goes in here, right here, and I found some cat O-rings that fit it good. But with the old O-rings, it's just sloppy. So I don't know if that's common to the outlet, pressure side, or intake, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back together and see if it'll work. Jeff wins. Jeff wins.